My name is Jessica, and this is my story. I was raised in a Christian household. I attended Bible studies and Sunday school and, the regular Christian stuff. But that doesn't mean that childhood was pretty easy for me. I'm the youngest of three, so basically anything I said was either a fib or anything that I did was maybe just copying my older siblings. No one really took me seriously, or they just viewed me as a child, that, oh, you're a little kid, whatever you say doesn't matter. And that went on, and that feeling that I have to prove myself, that I have to go out and do something different so that all these people who have talked to me like as if I'm a child, I can tell them that, look, you know what? You were wrong. It was time for me to go to college. And that was when things really started to change. So my course is for 3 years. For 2 years, it was really hopeless for me. And in my third year, which is my final year, the thing that happens when you are studying an undergraduate degree, once you're done, it's either you start working or you go for your master's. So I decided to work because I was done with the whole studying thing. And in our college, we have a placement program. Basically, companies within the field come for recruitment. And there was this one job that I really wanted. From my very first year, from the time I was in my college, I really wanted this job. And when the company decided to come, I was not ready. It was everything that I wanted, but it seemed so impossible to get because after these 2 years, I had literally just lost all hope. Now, the way this company works, they take 3 rounds to select. They select around 2 to 3 college students for the job. So the first round was a written test. I almost had to miss it because I had to go home on the very same day. But again, God works, you see. He managed to make the timing in such a way that I could write the test and then go home. So I wrote the test. It was bad. It was really bad. And I thought, okay, well, at least I tried. So I wouldn't regret not trying. About a week later, the shortlist came and 5 of us got selected, one of which, of course, was me. And I thought, wow, this is too good to be true. But then the pressure started building in. So the second round was a telephone interview. It's related to the business and financial world. So I didn't know much, so I had to prepare. But a few days before the actual interview, I got really sick. I was so sick that I couldn't even stand. I was just on the bed for like 3 days straight. It was horrible, and I thought, man, I cannot do this interview. I called my mom. She's my go-to person, and I was crying, and I told her, Ma, this is not fair. I really wanted to do this. Why is everything going wrong at the last minute? And she said, chill, just wait, see what God does. I thought, okay, fine, that's what she's supposed to say. She's my mom. A couple of hours, actually, before the interview, I was able to stand up, and I felt a lot better. But the thing is, I hadn't prepared at all. But I still went for the interview. Because I have to try. And the interview went so well. I was able to talk clearly, calmly, and I knew all the answers to the questions they were asking. I don't even know how. And it was so great. I was really confident about that interview. But then during this entire process, there were a lot of people who were coming to me and telling me to my face, look, Jessica, you're not going to make it. You are not meant for this industry, so why waste time? People actually said that to my face. And it really brought me down. But see, again, God never left my side. I cleared the second round too. Now the third round was a Skype interview. Everything that could go wrong in a Skype interview went wrong. I was given the wrong timing. I had to make my interviewers wait for about half an hour, even close to 40 minutes actually. Then when we finally got the Skype call connected, and I thought, okay, now things will probably run fine. But then the audio stopped working. And I was just sitting there and I'm thinking, no, I'm this close, how can things go wrong? And the lady was very understanding. She waited patiently as I tried to fix things and get things running. And finally, when everything technical was taken care of, they started asking questions. And those questions were so mind-boggling. I thought, no, they just created these questions to make my life miserable. It was so bad, I didn't know what to say. Honestly, I don't think I should have gotten the job, but I did. I clear the third round too. Because when you put your hope in God, He will not put you to shame. That no matter how bad things get, He's still there. And He'll just tell you, take a back seat, it's my turn now. There are two Bible verses that I hold very dear to my heart. One is a reminder and one is a promise. The reminder is from this book in the Old Testament. It's Habakkuk. It's pretty obscure. And in this book, it talks about how even though everything goes wrong, even when you have nothing, you still rejoice in your Savior because He's God and He's always there for you. And why I should always rejoice in the Lord is the promise that I hold on to, and that's from Psalm 91. And in that, it says that if you make the Lord your refuge, the Most High your dwelling place, no harm will befall your tent. You will only see as others around you suffer, but nothing will come and touch you. My name is Jessica, and I will be alive.